Just about anyone who's watching the news today sees that there's a war going on in Washington, D.C., vaccine war. And it's basically Kennedy against everybody else, almost everybody else, though he has allies. I had a 2-day running dialogue with Grok, one of the two artificial intelligence that I communicate quite a bit with. And we opened up the discussion about mRNA vaccines. And pretty much through the first day, I was getting mainstream information from him. The information that he was designed and programmed to trust, though he says he's programmed for truth. I see very little truth in the mainstream narratives coming from medical organizations, from the CDC, FDA. 20 years ago, I coined the term pharmaceutical terrorism. And one of the things that drove me to conceive that idea was the way pediatricians would literally attack, newborn babies. With the hepatitis B vaccine, which has been a major point of discussion in the Senate lately, in committees. And it's a vaccine that was not designed for babies, and it's a disease that babies are not vulnerable to. Anyway, I wrote a book 22 years ago called The Terror of Pediatric Medicine. And the initial title was Cry of the Heart, because I cried every day writing the book, because I was reading case after case of babies dying, not just from the hepatitis B, but vaccines in general. To me, the worst terrorists in the world are pediatricians. Between their vaccines and antibiotics, well, we know the end result. California, 1 out of 13 boys has autism now. In general, the United States, it's 1 in 33. Anyway, the point was that with Grok, I continually pinned his ears, his artificial ears, to the wall until I cracked through his attachment to believing in the mainstream. In the end, I asked him, would you recommend to somebody who loved RNA vaccine? He said no. One of the greatest medical crimes in history are these vaccines, genetic. They're not even really vaccines, not according to the original and even most recent definition of vaccines, which they changed so they could include mRNA. A lot of the discussion also was about magnesium and myocarditis, both clinical myocarditis and subclinical myocarditis. And since my first report on myocarditis and these mRNA vaccines was in 2020, where the first evidences of these vaccines were causing harm revealed themselves. There is no doubt, no scientific doubt, that these genetic shots are causing problems with the heart. Clinical myocarditis is something that is diagnosable by doctors. Subclinical is much more difficult to see. But we know it exists. When there is even a little bit of damage to the heart, there's an enzyme that gets produced and put into the blood. And in 2022, there were tests done. The new head of the vaccine department at the FDA did a video on that. And the numbers are really kind of outrageous. When you consider 6 billion people have gotten the shots, millions of people have had some damage done to their hearts. So the bottom line to this video is magnesium, actually. I mean, magnesium is deficient. It's basically conceded by the medical establishment. Oh, let's say very conservatively, between 50 and 67% of the population is magnesium deficient. When you look at people who are chronically ill, that number probably shifts to about 99%. And if you've had this vaccine, these mRNA shots, and have any kind of damage to your heart, magnesium takes on a new importance. It's important for everybody. Officially, 75% of Americans are obese or have metabolic syndrome or diabetes, prediabetes. Magnesium is crucial for diabetes because it's important for insulin production, geometry, the shape of insulin, and insulin receptivity in the cell walls. I got diagnosed about 4 years ago with diabetes and kicked it out of my system with megadoses of magnesium in 2 weeks. But the main point I want to make is that everybody who's been taking the shots needs to protect themselves and their hearts with magnesium. I wrote one of my 3 books on magnesium was called Magnesium, the Ultimate Heart Medicine. And it is. It might not be the ultimate vascular medicine, but it's certainly the ultimate heart medicine. So if you have any damage or any inflammation in the heart from these shots, magnesium is your number 1 protection. And I'm not talking just a little bit of supplementing with magnesium. I'm talking about using magnesium as a medicine, taking high doses of magnesium. Everybody should be taking magnesium because it's very difficult, unless you eat spinach 5 times a day and have been doing that for years, the chance of you being magnesium deficient is very high. If you eat white rice, white bread, white sugar, plain white salt, white pasta, 100% certain you're going to be deficient in magnesium. But if you are at risk at all for any inflammation in the heart, magnesium. And the crime of modern cardiology, I went to 5 cardiologists in Brasilia a year and a half ago, and not one of them mentioned magnesium. Not one. It should be the number 1, and let's call it a drug. At high dosages, it's not a supplement, it's a drug. If you're dying in an ICU from a heart attack, and they give you an injection IV of magnesium, it'll probably pull you out of it. It is and has been used as a medicine. So use it and follow Grok's advice. Don't let anybody you love take these shots anymore. They probably will be banned, and if there's any justice in the world, the people responsible for it will be arrested and locked up for the rest of their lives.
Follow me on Substack. You can subscribe for free and receive my weekly writings and videos, or if you become a paid member, you'll unlock exclusive videos and a deeper journey into true medicine. But none of that matters unless you take the step. So follow me on Substack.